I, 31 male, was sitting on our couch watching the game when my girlfriend Meredith, 29, walked in and dropped this bomb on me like it was nothing. Just so you know, I'm having dinner with Garrett tomorrow night. At Rosewood. Don't make this into a thing. Garrett, her ex of 4 years who she'd been just friends with our entire relationship. The same Garrett who'd been texting her at 1 a.m. about how he missed what they had. I didn't even look away from the TV. Wouldn't dream of it. She stopped. I could feel her staring at me. That's it? You're not going to throw a tantrum? Nope. Have fun. I mean it, Owen. You can't stop me from seeing my friends. I literally just said I wouldn't. She stood there for another minute, probably waiting for me to explode. When I didn't, she huffed and went to our bedroom. Here's what Meredith didn't know. Her sister Hazel, 26F, had been texting me for weeks. Not like that. Get your minds out of the gutter. Hazel had reached out because she was worried about Meredith's behavior. Apparently, Meredith had been telling her family that I was controlling and insecure about Garrett. Meanwhile, she'd been deleting texts and meeting up with him behind my back. Hazel was pissed. She'd never liked how Meredith treated me, and this was the last straw for her. So when Meredith announced her dinner plans, I texted Hazel. She's going to Rosewood tomorrow with Garrett. You free? Her response, absolutely. This is going to be good. I made reservations for 7:30 p.m., same time as Meredith's. The next day, Meredith spent 3 hours getting ready. She wore the dress I'd bought her for our anniversary, the perfume her mom got her for Christmas. She looked incredible, and she knew it. Don't wait up, she said, grabbing her purse. Wasn't planning to. She paused at the door. You're being weirdly cool about this. Would you prefer I wasn't? No, whatever. Bye. 20 minutes later, I picked up Hazel. She was wearing jeans and a nice top, nothing fancy. We weren't trying to make this look like a date, just two people having dinner. Ready for this? She asked. Born ready. We got a Rosewood at 7:25. The hostess led us to our table, which happened to have a perfect view of the entire dining room. I could see Meredith and Garrett in a corner booth, leaning close, her hand touching his arm. We ordered drinks and appetizers. Hazel was telling me about her job. When I saw it, Meredith scanning the room, probably doing that thing where she wanted to make sure she looked good compared to other women there. Her eyes landed on us. I've never seen someone's face go through so many emotions so fast. Confusion, recognition, shock, rage. I raised my water glass in a little toast. Hazel turned, saw her sister, and waved enthusiastically. Hazel, Meredith was at our table in seconds. What are you doing here? Having dinner with Owen. He said you were busy tonight, so we figured we'd grab a bite. Small world, right? Meredith's face was turning red. You can't? Owen. Yes. You brought my sister here. She was hungry. I was hungry. You were busy. Problem solved. Garrett had followed her over, looking deeply uncomfortable. Amer? Everything okay? No, everything is not okay. My boyfriend is here with my sister. We're just having dinner, Hazel said innocently. Like you and Garrett. Just friends catching up, right? The silence was deafening. This is different, Meredith hissed. Ow, I asked. Because you're doing this to get back at me. Get back at you for what? Having dinner with a friend? Why would that bother me? She was practically vibrating with anger. You know what you're doing? Having pasta? Yeah, guilty as charged. Garrett touched her shoulder. Maybe we should go back to our table. No, they need to leave. The manager appeared. Is everything all right here? Perfect, I said. Just saying hi to some friends. Meredith grabbed Garrett's arm and stormed back to their table. But the damage was done. She kept looking over at us every 30 seconds. Garrett looked like he wanted to dissolve into his chair. Hazel and I had a great dinner. We talked about movies, her grad school applications, my job. Normal stuff. Meanwhile, Meredith was having a visible meltdown across the restaurant. At one point, she came back over. Can I talk to you? Privately. Sure. I stood up and we walked to the entrance area. You need to leave. Now. Why? Because you're ruining everything. By eating dinner? You know what you're doing? This is manipulation. Meredith, you told me you were having dinner with your ex. I said okay. I made my own dinner plans. How? Is that manipulation? You brought my sister. And? You brought your ex, who you've been secretly texting for months. Her face went white. I haven't been. Tuesday at 1:17 a.m. I miss your hands. Thursday at 2:43 a.m. Owen doesn't make me feel like you did. Should I continue? You went through my phone. No. You left your iPad logged in. Messages sync, remember? She was speechless. Go back to your dinner, Meredith. Garrett's waiting. I walked back to Hazel. Meredith stood there for another minute, then returned to Garrett, who was already asking for the check. They left 10 minutes later. Meredith didn't even look at us. Hazel and I finished our meal, had dessert, split the bill. As we were leaving, she said, "You know she's going to lose her mind about this, right?" "Probably." "Good. She's had it coming for years." Update 1. Y'all called it. Meredith went DEFCON 1. When I got home that night, she was already there, sitting in the dark like some kind of villain origin story. "We need to talk." "Sure." I flipped on the lights and grabbed a beer. "What you did was unforgivable." "Having dinner?" "Stop playing dumb. You humiliated me." "How?" "By existing in the same restaurant." She stood up, pacing. "You turned my own sister against me." Hazel made her own choice. Just like you did when you went to dinner with your ex. That's different. You keep saying that but not explaining how. Because Garrett and I have history. We're friends. Cool. Hazel and I are friends now, too. She actually screamed. Like full banshee wail. The neighbors probably thought I was murdering someone. "You're doing this to punish me." "For what?" "You said having dinner with an ex is totally normal, and I'm insecure if I have a problem with it. So why are you mad?" Because it's different when you do it?" She threw a coaster at me. Missed by a mile. "I want you out," she said. "This is my apartment. You moved in with me, remember? Then I'll leave." "Okay." She stood there, waiting for me to beg her to stay. I just sipped my beer. "You're really going to let me walk out? You just said you're leaving. I'm respecting your decision." She grabbed some clothes, shoved them in a bag, and stormed out. Slammed the door so hard my neighbor texted asking if everything was okay. 20 minutes later, she was back. "I forgot my charger." "In the kitchen." She grabbed it. "This isn't over." "'Kay." The next morning, I woke up to 89 texts. Not even exaggerating. They ranged from, "I'm sorry," to "You're a monster," to "Please talk to me," to "I hope you die alone." The best one, "Garrett thinks you're pathetic, by the way." I responded, "Cool." "Hazel thinks you're exhausting." She called immediately. I didn't answer. Then the real entertainment started. She went to her mom, Patricia, with a sob story about how I was emotionally cheating with Hazel. Patricia called Hazel furious. Hazel sent me the recording of the call, one-party consent state, totally legal. Patricia was raging about family loyalty and how Hazel was betraying her sister. Hazel's response was golden. "Mom, Meredith went on a date with her ex Owen and I had dinner as friends. If you can't see the difference, that's on you. It's not the same." "Why?" Because Meredith said so." "Great logic, Mom. Really stellar." Patricia hung up on her. But here's where it gets really good. Garrett texted me. "Garrett, bro, can you chill? Meredith won't stop crying, and it's really killing the vibe." I screenshot that and sent it to Meredith. "Your boyfriend wants me to stop making you sad. He's not my boyfriend. Tell him that." Radio silence for 3 hours. Then, "I told Garrett we can't see each other anymore." "Happy? Why would I be happy? You just lost a friend." "That's sad. Stop being so calm about everything." "Would you prefer I throw a tantrum?" "Yes. At least then I know you cared." "I cared. Past tense. Your dinner with Garrett wasn't the problem. It was the lying, the gaslighting, the double standards. You can dish it, but you can't take it." "I never lied." I sent her screenshots of her text to her friend Chloe from 2 weeks ago. Told Owen I was at book club, at Garrett's apartment, instead smiling face with horns. She tried calling. I declined. That was taken out of context. What context makes going to your ex's apartment while lying to me okay? No response. Update 2. Meredith went nuclear, but not in the way I expected. She didn't do the typical social media rampage. No, she did something worse. She called my mom. My phone rang at 7 a.m. on Saturday. Mom never calls that early unless someone's dead. "Owen, what did you do to that poor girl?" "Morning to you too, Mom." Meredith called me crying. Said you're having an affair with her sister. "I had dinner with Hazel. Once." while Meredith was on a date with her ex. Silence. She was on a date? Yep. With her ex? Yep. And you had dinner with her sister? As friends, yeah. Mom started laughing. Like, full belly laugh. Good for you. I never liked that girl anyway. Plot twist I didn't see coming. She called me manipulative and controlling. Mom continued. I told her that if having boundaries makes you controlling, then maybe she needs to date someone with no spine. Mom, what? She's been walking all over you for 2 years. About time you stood up for yourself. But Meredith wasn't done. Oh no, she decided to escalate. She showed up at my work, Monday morning, with coffee and donuts, playing the concerned girlfriend card. I just wanted to make sure Owen's okay, she told our receptionist, loud enough for everyone to hear. He's been going through some mental health struggles. My boss, Jerome, called me in. Your girlfriend's here. Says you're having a crisis. We broke up, and I'm fine. She seems pretty concerned. I showed him the texts. All of them. His expression went from concerned to annoyed to angry. She's trying to get me to fire you? Looks like it. He walked out to reception himself. Ma'am, you need to leave. Now. But Owen needs help. Owen needs you to respect his workplace. Security? She left, but not before announcing to the entire lobby that I was clearly having a breakdown, and she was just trying to help. Hazel called me that afternoon. Meredith just tried to get me uninvited from Dad's birthday party. How'd that go? Dad told her to grow up. He also said, and I quote, maybe if you weren't sneaking around with your ex, Owen wouldn't have needed dinner with someone who actually respects him. Your dad said that? Yeah, he's never liked how she treats you either. None of us have, honestly. Except Mom, but Mom babies Meredith. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Garrett. Dude, I'm sorry about all this. I didn't know she was this crazy. She told me you guys were basically broken up. We weren't. Yeah, I figured that out. Look, I'm blocking her. She's been showing up at my apartment at weird hours. My roommate's threatening to call the cops. Screenshot that for me. He did. Meredith had been going to his place at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., crying about how everyone was against her. I forwarded it to Patricia with a message. Your daughter needs help. Patricia called me immediately. How dare you? How dare I what? Show you proof that Meredith is harassing her ex. She's upset. She's stalking people. You broke her. She broke herself. I just stopped enabling it. Patricia hung up. But Hazel told me later that Patricia actually did talk to Meredith about getting therapy. Meredith's response? She accused Patricia of taking Owen's side and stopped talking to her own mother. Final update. 2 weeks after the restaurant incident, everything came to a head. Meredith had been staying with her friend Chloe, but that ended when Chloe's boyfriend found Meredith trying to go through Chloe's phone to see if she was talking about me. So Meredith moved back with Patricia, who was already at her limit. Then came what I call the birthday disaster. It was Patricia's husband Robert's 60th birthday. Big party, whole family invited. I wasn't going, obviously, but Hazel was keeping me updated. Meredith showed up drunk. Not tipsy drunk. At 2 in the afternoon. She grabbed the microphone during Robert's speech and announced, I just want everyone to know that Hazel is sleeping with my ex. Record scratch moment. Hazel stood up. Owen and I are friends. We had one dinner. You're the one who was sneaking around with Garrett for months. Liar. Hazel pulled out her phone and connected it to the Bluetooth speaker. Remember those messages I'd screenshot? She had them too. Meredith's voice filled the room. Courtesy of a voice message she'd sent Hazel months ago. Garrett's so much better in bed than Owen ever was. I'm only staying with Owen until I figure out if Garrett's serious about us. Dead. Silence. Robert, bless him, took the mic. Meredith, get out of my house. But it's your birthday. And you're ruining it. Leave. She tried to grab the mic back. Robert's brother, Uncle Tony, former Marine, physically escorted her out. She sat in the driveway for an hour, laying on the horn until someone called the cops. She got a disturbing the peace citation. But the real karma came 3 days later. Remember how I said Meredith worked as a social media manager for a local boutique? Well, the owner, Diana, called me. Owen, I'm sorry to bother you, but did Meredith have access to your credit card? She had a card for emergencies. What? I've been going through our books. There are some discrepancies. Turns out, Meredith had been using the company card for personal purchases and then using my emergency card to pay it back before Diana noticed. Except now that I canceled her access, she couldn't cover her tracks. We're talking $3,800 worth of marketing expenses that were actually clothes, dinners with Garrett, and a weekend trip she said was a work conference. Diana fired her on the spot and is pressing charges. Meredith called me from Patricia's phone. I blocked all her numbers. Please don't let them arrest me. I'll pay it back. With what money? I'll figure it out. Please. Owen, I'm sorry about everything. I'm not the one pressing charges. Diana is. But you could talk to her. Why would I do that? Because you loved me once, and you used that love to walk all over me. Good luck, Meredith. She started crying. Not angry tears, real, terrified tears. I messed everything up. Yep. I lost everything. Yep. Do you hate me? No. I nothing you. Which is worse? I hung up. Last I heard, through Hazel, Meredith pled guilty to misdemeanor theft, got probation and community service. Patricia and Robert made her move out after she stole Patricia's jewelry to pawn. Garrett filed a restraining order after she showed up at his job. She's living with some aunt in another state, working retail. She still posts inspirational quotes about rising from the ashes and knowing your worth. As for me, I'm doing great. Started dating this girl Luna from my climbing gym. She thinks the whole story is insane. We actually went to Rosewood last week. Different table, though. That corner booth has bad juju. Hazel and I are still friends. She's dating some guy named Felix, who's apparently the complete opposite of anyone in my family. Thank God. Patricia still sends me Christmas cards, weirdly enough. The last one said, "Hope you're well." Meredith is in therapy. Finally, someone asked if I regret the restaurant thing. Honestly, best $60 I ever spent on pasta. The look on her face when she saw us, that moment when she realized she couldn't gaslight her way out of it, priceless. The funny thing is, if she'd just been honest from the beginning, said she had feelings for Garrett, wanted to explore that, I would have been hurt, but I would have respected it. We could have broken up like adults. Instead, she tried to have her cake and eat it too. Tried to keep me as a safety net while testing the waters with Garrett. Tried to make me the villain when I wouldn't play along. But the restaurant thing? That wasn't revenge. That was a mirror. I showed her exactly what she was doing, and she couldn't handle seeing it reflected back at her. Garrett reached out once more, months later. For what it's worth, man, you handled that whole thing with class. Thanks. She still texts me from random numbers sometimes. Block and move on, dude. Already did. Hey, is Hazel single? Don't even think about it. He laughed. Fair enough. The moral of the story? When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When they tell you having dinner with an ex is no big deal, take them at their word. Have dinner with their sister. Just kidding. Sort of. But seriously, don't let anyone gaslight you into thinking your boundaries don't matter. Don't let them convince you that their rules don't apply to them. And definitely don't let them treat you like a backup plan. Oh, and always make reservations. You never know when you'll need them. Edit. Stop demanding asking for Hazel's Instagram. She's not interested in Reddit dudes. Her words. Edit 2. Yes, this is legal in my state. No, I didn't commit any crimes. Having dinner isn't illegal, despite what Meredith tried to tell the cops. Edit 3. Meredith found this post. Got a text from a new number. You're pathetic for posting this. I replied, "K." She sent 73 more messages. I didn't read them.